Sasquatch, Yahoo, Phantom of the Forest, you Spearfinger, Fire Dragon, Ohio Grassman, Silver Giant, Bloodless Howler, West Virginia Vampire, Coyote King, Hogzilla, Devil Dog, Coyote Killer. Cave creature, Mothman, Smoke Wolf, Lizard Demon, Ashman, Grafton Monster, Cow-killing Bastard, Shadow Creature, Dustman, Cherokee, Death Cat, Wild Man, Great Fire Rape. What else do I have to say? Steal yourself some chicken wire, and I'll get some lumber. Catch the Thunder Brothers. Don't you dare get out of the golf cart. We can keep our big seats while we hunt the Bigfeet. Snarly Gastro Team, Red Island Bear Beast, Silver Giant, Squalling Savage, Black Wolf was kind of average, Stone Giant, Raven Mocker, Midnight Whistler, Wampus Beast, Wawa Woman, Ohio Grassman again. Technically Huckleberry Wolfman or Wolf County, need to find the X again if we hunt the Lightning Man. Webster's Werewolf, Daily Howl, Kentucky Hellhound, Little Girl, Headless Horror, I can't take it anymore. Steal yourself some chicken wire, and I'll get some lumber. Catch the Thunder Brothers. Don't you dare get out of the golf cart. We can keep our big seats while we hunt the Bigfeet.
This here's BIGFEETS, the podcast with Foot. I'm Robert Brockway, and if I was a mountain monster, I would be 3 normal dogs in a cage.
And I'm Sean Baby, and I would be 4 normal dogs in a cage. It's called One-Upping Ya.
And I am author and essayist Jason Pargin.
I like the NPR voice. Let's do that the whole time. It just kills your throat. I can't. All right. This is a Mountain Monster Watch-Along podcast. That's Mountain Monsters, if you are just listening to this episode and no other episodes, is a hillbilly X-Files monster hunting reality show adventure. It's mostly just sort of monster hunting improv, and we're watching every single episode of 9 unbelievable seasons. But before we get into it, who would like to plug something today?
My new book is called Zoe is Too Drunk for This Dystopia. It is on shelves and in all of the other book reading formats everywhere the books are sold, except for like grocery stores and stuff wouldn't have it. But places that are dedicated book selling operations, anywhere should have it.
And Sean?
Oh, I would love to plug 1-900hotdog.com. We have our own podcast called The Dog Zone 9000 every Wednesday. And all the other days of the week, we have hilarious articles from comedy writing all-stars from around the internet. It's the final comedy website. Support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/1900hotdog. That's my plug.
What a fantastic plug. I would once again like to plug this very podcast that you're listening to. I think it's pretty good. I think you made a good choice. I would love it if you told somebody about it. I almost said tweeted about it, but that doesn't exist. I don't know what people do. Honk about it somewhere. Honk about it on Honk, the Honk platform for clowns. I fucking whatever you do. Apple reviews are great. Google, just for the love of God, shout it out your window. Tell somebody about it, or it stops being a thing. And we don't want it to stop being a thing because there are 900 episodes left, and every single one gets better than the last. Let's meet our cast real quick. Trapper is the leader of the Mountain Monsters crew, called Ames. Huckleberry is Bigfoot security, a role which he takes very seriously by not doing anything at all. He would bring a chair and lean it backwards and fall asleep if he could. Buck, the rookie, the caller, the husky ninja by his own proclamation. As we have recently found out, mostly bait stand-in. He's there to be trapped and laughed at. Jeff is our hillbilly research scientist reading books he found washed up in the holler. Willie is our trapper, not trapper. And Wild Bill is our tracker. He does not track. What he tracks down is a tree, and then he runs up it and falls down on his back, and we all laugh. And it's a good time, and I will not disparage his performance. We are watching Mountain Monsters Season 1, Episode 8, The Grafton Monster of Taylor County.
This is a real creature. This is, at the beginning of every episode, we try to determine if this is an actual creature. I say real creature. I mean, it is an existing cryptid. The legend is actually known, where sometimes they will make up a cryptid out of whole cloth for the episode. The Grafton monster is a thing.
Now, to be fair, though, even when they pick a monster that is a thing, they will still continue to make up that monster, even if, like, the established folklore exists for you to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? The folklore on this one is the Grafton monster is said to bludgeon his victims to death, I guess with a big club, and he either is actually headless or appears to be, and in their words, sulking.
He's
like
a sad Shaquille O'Neal. Imagine a sad Shaquille
He's a
O'Neal
sad
and
Shaq.
nothing else.
What a sad Shaq.
Sad Shaq. He's a sad Shaq.
All right. So we got a sad Shaq on our hands. We're time for our truck debriefing. We're parked this time. The first time.
Well,
we always do
up.
it on the move, but we're tailgating. We're tailgating our Bigfoot research. Maybe we got some wings on here. Out in the field, Jeff says, well, I have a killer video I'd like to show you. And I don't know why, but that's so cute. It's like show and tell. I have a killer video I'd like to show you. I think it talks for itself. And in this very gentle, fun-loving way, he shares this video with him on his laptop. It's obviously from Grafton, West Virginia. And they celebrate that fact, like, oh, it's local. As though every single one hasn't been local to this point.
Right.
They've driven up to a half hour away, and they will not do that again. It's terrible video. It's dark, grainy video. We basically don't have to specify that. Very shaky shadows. I like that there's something that we're doing old school about this. Because we've established that we have modern technology. This is, 2013,
Right.
2014, something like that now. We have, like, high-definition cameras, at least reasonable high-definition cameras, in our pockets. It doesn't look like this. If you take a terrible video of something on a cell phone, it doesn't look like this. It looks better than this. This is, like, they're still trying to get that classic fucking 8mm kind of green on it for atmosphere, and I appreciate the aesthetics that they're going for. I appreciate the work.
Yeah, I feel like cryptids have sort of fallen out of, like, popularity because, obvious reasons, like you just film a monster if monsters existed. So they're trying to get that Bigfoot video where, it's sort of, it looks like a Bigfoot, but like you couldn't film that today because you would be able to see the gorilla costume scene or whatever.
And you can. So, it's a vaguely humanoid gorilla costume, shot so badly and so poorly they actually have to highlight the shape in white to show you what the shape is supposed to be.
It could have been nothing. This could have been some cattle next to nothing, and I'd be like, yeah, that's what that video is.
Sincerely, I'm not certain that they even did a costume. I think if you had somebody just kind of cover their head with their coat, because it's just a figure. It's just a shadowy figure. It could just be somebody with their hands and everything covered in coveralls or literally anything.
They actually draw the Bigfoot shape on there. They draw a Bigfoot shape over it, and they're like, see? You can see the shape, it's Bigfoot. Like, no, you fucking drew that. So, what I like about this is it's the first time where Trapper says, and something he's going to try to make happen, well, that's definitely a mountain monster creature.
We're going to get a lot of that as we go. Yeah, they're going to start trying to brand a category of mountain monster, which makes me wonder if they didn't produce several episodes before they came up with the title of the show, because I don't think that's terminology they used a lot.
Yeah,
no, that's brand new.
No, they're just stumbling onto it. They want to have that hot mountain monster brand on it, so nobody can sell knockoff Grafton monster toys, except for them. Can't wait to see the buck action figure. So there's cattle to give it scale. They think that means it's super huge. And Trapper says, "Well, now you did any more research on this one, Jeff?" And Jeff says, "Yep, and I found the possibility that it's the Grafton monster."
You think? I think it's a safe bet if it's a monster in Grafton, Jeff.
That's it. It's done. Did you do any more research? And yes, I found the possibility that it's a monster where we are in Grafton.
They did a thing here that I thought was interesting because, like, they are finding the brand and like everyone's roles, and right here they're trying to like prop Jeff up as like a hillbilly genius. Because he looked up, like, about the town and, like, found a name of some Civil War guy. And Trapper's like, you son of a bitch, you know that motherfucker's name! Like, their minds are blown that he remembered a fact from previously in the afternoon.
So he asked Jeff to brief them all up. about this Grafton monster, and what Jeff does is start talking about the Civil War and why Grafton was a vital strategic point in the war because of its railroad, and how the first casualty of the Civil War was killed in Grafton. And he says, "Thornsbury Bailey Brown, boys," and everybody is so impressed. But that's okay, and that unless Thornsbury Bailey Brown was shot and his ghost became the Grafton monster, this is not helpful, Jeff. This is not the kind of research they meant. But Trapper loves it. He goes, "You know his damn name, son of a bitch, Jeff."
It's probably a street name in most towns around there. You know what I mean? I don't know. They're easily impressed, is my point.
Blown out of the fucking water on this
with
one.
The book learning.
Earlier they said the first sighting was in Huckleberry said the first sighting was in the 60s. Not 2 minutes later, they now say the first sighting was in the 50s. So they're already contradicting themselves. He's 100, maybe 1,500 pounds. So he's got a pretty big range. That's a big range.
He's a third to 5 shacks.
He's got 4 foot wide shoulders. That's very important. And we're going to go ahead and do a thick cryptid thigh check here.
Oh, cryptid thighs.
Oh, they're pretty thick. He's kind of a shaved ape, kind of a Clayface from Batman kind of thing. Just like a nondescript child's drawing of a monster with
Amazing.
big...
Yeah.
It is the best creature rendering by far. It is so goofy because they're trying to work in the thing with it being like hunched over and its head is kind of in its chest or something. And it's clear the animator didn't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
Because it's not in the picture. It's just kind of a weird blob that he couldn't decide. Now, Jeff starts to explain this physiology. He says, "Now, the most interesting part is his head, which drops clear down in the center of his chest. We'll only be able to see the head from the side view, guys. That's why they call it the headless horror." And
you call this cranging. When you're cranging,
and
put
now
your head in your tummy.
They have seized onto a bit, and Trapper says, "Whore? W-H-O-R-E?
Oh, God.
Like, you think this monster's a slut, Jeff? You think if we could all pitch in, we could fuck this monster, Jeff?" Like, they're giving him shit for saying it weird. And then
it goes
Buck
on
quietly,
for a while.
Buck quietly in the back of the truck says, "I don't think that would be a very good whore." That's his addition to the bit. And Jeff goes, "Well, one charges money and the other scares the hell out of you, but I bet you've had some what are probably both monsters." I don't know what the fuck he's trying to say there, but Trapper loves it so much he claps and starts giggling. And Huckleberry
buys really scary hookers.
I believe that. Huckleberry trying to join in on the joke before it ends says, "They both charged him money." Wait, hold on.
Well, what is he talking about?
Hold on, what does that mean? What does that mean, Huckleberry? What were you going after there? The headless horror, the Grafton monster charged him money for... What a great improv bit. And they close that on like that's the punchline, just leaving us completely baffled on the floor.
It's like they had all of the phrasing of a comedy bit back and forth written out, and then they put it into a blender, and all of the phrases are out of order. Yep. Like nothing logically leads from one bit to another. And again, I realize they're improvising. They're not working from a script, but it's weirdly incoherent because, again, I've been around guys like this. They can joke just fine and they can tell dirty jokes just fine. Here, they never quite landed on what they were implying.
Like, it's a direct line. You should imply that Trapper fucked that monster. Just say that.
Right.
You didn't land that.
No.
And then we ended knowing that, like, the Grafton monster charges money for something, but it's probably not sex work. But it could be.
He charges money. He charged Trapper for something. Maybe contracting, probably sex work. One thing's for sure, there's a headless whore involved somewhere in this. Which
Trapper's definitely encountered a few headless whores. That's for sure.
So playing this straight, Trapper very briefly thought they were going to Grafton to hunt a headless whore. Like there was a headless whore roaming the woods, and that's their monster. Like, that's a little unusual for us, Jeff. Anyway, that scene, that comedy brilliance is done. They meet up with their first witness in the field. This man's name is Wolfie.
Wolfie.
as though he's a treasured child stuffed animal. And to sell that, Trapper calls him Woofy.
Now, I want to stop the listeners right here. I know what you're thinking. I know you think there's going to be a twist where it turns out this witness is a wolf man or a werewolf, and that at the end of the episode it's going to turn out that he was the monster they're hunting. It's not going there. Because I got really excited when they're like, we're going to talk to our first witness who says he saw the monster. His name is Wolfie. Like, ooh, I know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's gonna
His
turn
name
out
is Krang, and his head is in a normal place.
He's just got a paper mache head up there.
But no, his name is just Wolfie. He is a cattle farmer. This is now 8 straight episodes where in 8 episodes they've probably talked to, what do you think, maybe 20 witnesses? They tend to have 2 to 3
it's about
per
3
episode.
per episode.
And they have all been hunter, outdoorsman, farmer, rancher.
One auctioneer, one real notable dead auctioneer, torn to pieces.
Auctioneer. It's never dentist, attorney, bank loan officer, which again, all of those people will go hunting in the woods and fishing. Any of them could plausibly see a cryptid. There are people who have normal human jobs in all over these, West Virginia and the other Virginias. Not in the world of mountain monsters, though. Everybody either lives off the land or they are some sort of salt of the earth something.
By filming them all in this field, I am really starting to get the implication that they, right before this scene started, Wolfie woke up in that field and just stood up and waited for them to come to him, because that's where he lives. Just, all right, I'm ready, I'm awake. Just kick me when you get here. I'm in the field. He's a cattle farmer, the only real job, of course. And
when you get to the field, take a left. I lived left of the field. When you get to take a left to when you hit the ditch, that's my house.
I know there's going to be a lot of men with animal names sleeping there in that field in the grass like pod people. You're gonna look for Woofy. Don't go to Turtle Man. If you go to Turtle Man, you've gone too far.
He will answer to Woofy.
He knows he's going to get my snacks. You brought my Woofy snacks, right? So he was taking videos of his cows to sell, but he's real cagey about it. I was just going to assume it was normal, but then he's like, well, I was taking videos of my cows to sell, so I guess to perverts? He's taking pervert cow videos? I don't know why we're even making excuses. It's 2014. And Wolfie turns and says, you can see the cows down there, as though to prove I really do have cows.
Yeah.
And Jeff says, well, that one looks like he's got one big bloodline going on there, Woofy. And Jason, do you know what Woofy says?
He's got the length and the girth. And then Trapper, just to make sure that this does not remain in the realm of euphemism, it goes where?
Trapper says, yeah, he has to have a good set of nuts. So you know what we're talking about. And Wolfie laughs and says, yes, he does. And then he gets real serious and says, most people would laugh about that, but it's true. You just laughed. All of you just laughed.
Yeah, all of you laughed. They're like, no, let's get serious for a second. I really like that giant penis we're looking at.
All right, this has been Cow Dong Talk with Woofy. Let's move on to... so Woofy was taking his...
Trapper has a whole new protocol here where he wants to start with the creature's diet.
Yeah, he says every time. Every time they start like this.
And that's not true. I feel like what they're doing is trying to build the tropes and establish some rules to their hunt. I feel like the last one really, they're like, guys, we can't just wander into a cornfield, get tornado stalked by a monster, and then decide we won. We have to have a plan.
I'm telling you, it's not good enough to have a shaky video of a bear and a fucked up cow. We got to have more of that to go. Nah, it's good. We're gonna get the round running. Can't ruin that magic.
I think that's what makes this show so good. Is every episode it feels like they're reinventing it. It feels like they know they fucked up. They got to try a whole bunch of new stuff,
but they just fuck up in another direction.
It's always fresh in a new, insane direction.
So they've literally never done that. Started with the diet. Every once in a while, they might find something along the way where it's the monster ate something. They never start to establish this scientific, biological profile of the species, like your fucking researchers.
They have nothing to go on. They decide that he eats cows because the cows are afraid of him.
Okay, Trapper's logic is completely insane here. Trapper says, Now, Woofy, the cattle were running from you because they knew they were in danger. Maybe that means it's a meat eater. Maybe they've seen it take down a deer or a young bear. Everybody just note this, because we're going to have to go through this. Maybe the cattle were running because they knew that, and that means you are in danger. He's trying to take Willie's maniac build and logic.
He's getting there. I at least know what he's trying to say. And that, like, it's not too many leaps of logic for a Grafton monster to eat it, to get from deer to human meat, I guess.
So he's saying, in order, he says, the cows ran from this huge beast. Brave, bold cows will not run for no reason from a beast.
Right.
So perhaps these cows knew he was a meat eater, and rather than some instinctual predatorial, like we know what a predator looks like or behaves like, they will have witnessed it. These cows will have personally witnessed it killing a deer and then conferred amongst each other and decided that could be us next. And the cattle were running because they have had this cow council, this congress of cattle to determine this. And therefore, Woofy, you are in danger, for we look to the cows for danger. The cows are always the first to know.
Therefore, the Grafton monster needs to die. So in that chain of logic, it went from the cows were afraid of it, therefore it should die. And that's it. And he had to get his witness, he had to yes and him up to that point with nothing. Because again, the witness didn't even say, oh yeah, I'm down 5 cows. This thing takes another cow every week. They didn't have that.
No.
It's just, I had a
totally
video.
Thrown.
It's just, I was taking a video of my bull's giant cock to sell on the internet because I have OnlyFans. and I caught this shadowy thing moving in the back, and the cows were mildly alarmed by this. This is the crime that the Grafton monster has committed, is it mildly startled his cows once.
I do make my living off them cowcocks. Woofy'sCowcocks.com. Visit everybody. Code Woofy to get 15% off your first picture of a cowcock.
He messes with my cow penis. He messes with my paycheck.
He eventually arrives at maybe it was stalking Woofy, which they have nothing to indicate that.
Jeff, the fucking madman, hears all of this crazy logic, and what he adds, he says, this is a horribly frightening situation. That Grafton monster could have been stalking him for maybe years. Where the fuck did you decide that, Jeff? Does he not know he's throwing such huge monkey wrenches into everything? Like now it's fucking single white femaling Woofy?
Yeah.
It's been stalking Woofy for years?
Getting the same haircut.
What a fucking wild thing to throw in there. It's been stalking you for years, Woofy. And they cut to Woofy and he's got this look on his face like, what the? Nobody fucking cleared this shit with me.
Yeah, this is too much, guys. I thought we were making dick jokes. And you're going to give me my Woofy snacks. I was promised some Woofy snacks.
And I'm not going to admit to having my life stalked for years until I get my Woofy snacks. Jeff, I love Jeff. He was gotta be. I mean, Wild Bill is the wild card for sure, but Jeff cannot be discounted in the huge wrenches he will throw into the improv, where they all are just like, you see them blink for a little bit, like trying to process, what the fuck are we gonna do about that?
Yeah, Jeff's on a totally different fucking timeline. I like one of them says, I think Trapper says it. He says that the Grafton monster knows this territory. And so it's going to be a real hard find. And in my notes, it says in all caps, "We will fucking see, Trapper." Because my prediction is that they will find him the second they go outside at night tonight.
And, okay, your prediction is noted. Now, let's skip ahead a little in your notes. Does that prediction come true?
Oh, holy shit, I was right. I was right the whole time.
Oh my god, you were right. This is the hard find, our most difficult investigation yet. They cut to the night investigation, exactly the same as every other episode.
They start right where Woofy saw it, which I thought was a pretty good call.
Yeah.
Maybe Grafton Monster never goes to the same place twice. We don't know. But I feel like going to where the guy saw it is a fine place to start.
And also...
Yeah,
In episode 8, we get Huckleberry for the first time explaining his job as security.
Yep.
It's the first time it's ever come up. They kept referring to him as security, and it was never clear what he did. And here he explains, my job is to make sure they don't get attacked by the Grafton monster during the investigation. Because, again, the investigation is not the hunt. They're just going out to try to look for it. He just is kind of ambling around the woods with the rest of them.
I'm telling you, he's a great security guard because that's what security guards do. They're there to stand there to be like, I'm here. Maybe don't do anything. And so it's so the Grafton monster kind of looks down and he sees a Huckleberry with him and it's like, I don't want to eat that.
Yeah, I don't want to eat that. That's too dangerous. I was so confused by this speech that it kind of triggered something in my memory that, like, when you're in a formation, like a military squad formation, I think you call the guy in the back security. So his role might not be a job so much as just where he stands when they're walking around.
But he felt the need to explain, no, I am Bigfoot security.
Bigfoot security.
He has now fucking ruined that. Yeah. He has destroyed that, and now he is the mall security guard of the Holler. He's Holler security. So they put Buck. Hey, Buck, you're the rookie. You've got the least experience. You're up front. They put him on point. He's Bigfoot fodder now. And what Bigfoot would still be hungry afterwards? It's a good plan. So they're wading through the brush, and they spot something humanoid on thermal 2 minutes in. My God, the hardest investigation they've ever had.
This cracked me up so much. Because Jeff's thermal is notoriously useless. It's just the dumbest fucking thing on the show. He never sees anything on it. And the one time he does see something on it, he pans right past it. It's just a completely black screen with this bright red little human man in the center of it. And he just pans right past it and someone has to say, no, go back. Like he missed the only thing that's ever been on his thermal. And then he's like, what are you talking about? And they're like, the red glowing human in the center of the blackness. Jeff, he might be completely blind. He might be legally blind just carrying around a heat vision camera.
And what he thinks happens next is the Grafton monster turned around and leapt off the edge of a mountain to escape them.
Yes.
And so they run up to where he was and they find a fucking deer feeder, like full of seeds.
Yeah, it's adorable.
Travers demonstrates. He says, he was right here feeding like this. And then he puts his hand in the seeds and he starts flicking them around like a little squirrel. Like as though the Grafton monster was there, like just patting them around, finding the good seeds that are his favorite.
What occurs here is like something from a Mr. Show sketch. Because the deer feeder, they come up to it and they're like, he was right here at this feeder, and it's like swinging back and forth like he was just there like 1 second ago. In other words, like the Grafton monster is right there, like 10 feet away from them, and they start shouting, look for tracks. So they're just standing there acting like this is the next day, and not that a crew member came and slapped the deer feeder to make it wobble back and forth like the Grafton monster was, I guess, hanging onto it and eating the corn out of it.
Any way you picture that is the most adorable and hilarious. Just, it's got his little hunched down head, so it's perfect feeder height, just slipping his tongue in there and grabbing one seed at a time.
But we know he's a meat eater, so who filled this deer feeder with flesh of animal? That's very strange. It's very strange.
So they've already forgotten that. They decide to go back on the hunt after finding some tracks. They go back on the hunt, and it's literally right behind them. They just turn around. They don't take a single step. Buck spots a platform. It's the hunter's blind for the feeder. And Trapper's like, yeah, I see it, but that's not what we're looking for. And Buck is like, I think it is what we're looking for, and walks off towards it. So now we've forced the show's hand. We're going up that platform.
Now,
Buck smells something.
Okay, before that, I want to mention something. Because, Sean, you brought up how ineffective the thermal camera is.
Right.
The next time you watch this show, I want you to remember, the object that Jeff is carrying doesn't do anything.
Yes.
In post-production, they are inserting the thermal stuff. So when he's acting it out, they are improvising, well, I think I see something, or point this way. Do you see something? Like, no, I don't see nothing yet. Like, that's all improv. And then later on. So here you actually get a thing where they will insert a cut from the infrared that shows the monster, but they'll cut back to the team and they don't react. because they
Right.
like made a mistake because they didn't match up what was supposed to be seen through the thing with the way they're acting in the scene. When you watch the thermal stuff, knowing that's how they're doing it, it's so much funnier because, again, they're trying to establish, like, people will prompt Jeff, like, you got anything on thermal? Which, obviously, if you were in the woods and you saw a headless 1,500-pound creature in the thermal, you would not keep that to yourself.
Yeah, I feel like you tell
You
them.
would make a noise when you saw that. So asking Jeff, you got anything on thermal, Jeff? They're prompting him to say, oh yeah, I think. It's so often he says, nah, I don't see nothing.
No.
It could just be a shack. It could just be a headless shack.
And they get so frustrated with him. Are you sure? It's right there, Jeff. And they'll have to convince him. It's like a team effort of them all like pretending hard enough. And Jeff will finally be like, okay, yeah, I guess there's something on thermal. It's
And
the
guys,
one
tell
thing that
Jeff
you do.
about the Indian bride. Tell Jeff that the Grafton monster has an Indian bride. Remind him.
He's gonna know but seeing a shape on thermal, but he'll be like, yeah, the lizard demon runs up and attacks cars. Fucking, what are you doing, Jeff? You gotta play. You gotta play the game. So
Maybe
what
it'll
happens
even
next?
attack one of our cars later. No, it's not, Jeff. We cannot
No,
afford
it's not, Jeff.
anything like that.
That sounds like it would be an expensive fix, Jeff. It would be expensive to fix those cars. Do you get what I'm saying, Jeff?
The Grafton monster likes to leave out nice cheese plates.
So they see Buck wins this round of improv fighting, which is this improv fist fight, and they're gonna go check out the blind. And there's blood up there, and it's Buck's turn to do his one acting move, which is to gag and pretend to vomit. And he does
Right.
this in so many episodes. It's like his best role is to pretend to be disgusted by something, forgetting that he's supposed to be a seasoned woodsman. Every one of
Right.
them. Trapper says, got us a gut pile, rotten guts, just pouring through the floor. That sumbitch was here eating. I don't get why he's mad about that until he corrects it and says, no, it isn't guts. It's cow afterbirth.
So,
And Buck says the craziest shit.
Yep.
Buck says he dragged one of Woofy's calves right out of the mom and ate it up here.
Yes.
Bigfoot hand-delivered a baby for a fresh snack.
this is the joy of Mountain Monsters. If I had to pick out one moment to try to explain to someone the magic that is the show and why we are so obsessed with it, to the point that it has taken over our lives when we all have other things we need to be doing. Sean has 2 young children he should be caring for that he's not. He's doing this instead. Okay?
This is more important.
I am on
They'll be fine.
I'm on a tight book deadline that I cannot break. I'm not working on that right now. I am watching Mountain Monsters and doing this commentary. Listen to me. You have to stop and imagine the making of the show. They have a witness, and the guy had the video camera, and the guy with the video is a cattle farmer. They asked him, as we saw in the previous episode, do you have anything we can work with? In the previous episode, the guy had what appeared to be a diseased calf, and they used it as a prop. This guy gave them some cow afterbirth to use as evidence of like a gross thing they could find in the woods because they wanted to find some guts. They got it from the cattle farmer so they could find in the woods some sort of guts to be a kill site. And then when they start, because they don't talk about it in advance, when they start improvising the scene, the guy says it's a cow afterbirth, and Buck, trying to do a crime scene reconstruction, decides that the Grafton monster patiently waited near a pregnant cow for it to start birthing the cow, and then grabbed the birthed cow from its vagina
And ran with it like a football under its arm.
into the woods and brought it up onto this deer stand, and also draped blood down the side because there's some neatly dripped blood down the side of it.
It did not hurt the mother cow. It just waited for that fresh baby snack because it knew it was coming.
And Wolfie doesn't know this happened. He was unaware of it. He did not either.
So it might have been that he let the cow give birth and then just waited for the placenta to come out, and then just took that and then decided, what am I doing here? There's a deer feeder full of food. I don't need to eat this. But one of them has the idea, because it occurs to one of them that it wouldn't make sense for him not to eat the placenta, like that nutrient-rich cow placenta. So they think that the Grafton monster brought it up there to throw them off the track. Like
Jeff said that.
Okay.
Jeff improvises.
Jeff is the wild card.
He threw that up there as a distraction because, again, trying to decide, is this thing a wild animal or is it a thinking creature? Again, something they did not decide in advance.
So obviously it's at least thinking enough to create not a trap, but like a red herring.
And that's what they think they're getting out of this scene, is establishing like the tactical mastermind, the placenta planting cannibal doula Bigfoot mastermind. But Trapper thinks this confirms it. He's a meat eater.
Right.
That's what he thinks.
We found some meat he didn't eat.
That's what
and they found that they saw him eating bird feed with their own fucking eyes. Like it's still swinging.
So he decides that's where they're building the trap. He says, here's where we're building the trap. So the next day we're cutting to Wild Bill and Willie's Crackhead Trap Shack. They're driving in on a tractor, which we have established from previous seasons they cannot rent on their own. So either they have stolen a credit card from Trapper or just this tractor. Wild Bill says he's going to give that old legendary Grafton creature, something to think about. And Willie is going to deliver on that promise with a box. He's going to drop a box on him.
Same as last time, but dogwood instead of bamboo.
Not going to drop a box on him. He's going to build a box on the ground that it has to walk into.
You're right. You're right. It is different this time. He's not dropping the box. He's dropping the cage on the box.
He's building it a vacation home.
He's got his little sketch pad of the plans, and do you know what he's drawing?
Fucking box.
He's drawing a fucking box.
Gotta sketch it out.
Willie says the old Grafton monster is going to feel like he's in a jail prison cell with this one. And Wild Bill, sensing an opportunity to spin his own lore, now says, think that old Grafton monster might be hitting that bottle a little bit? Oh, tipping her back. That's what always wind up getting me here in the old jail hell cell hell,
That is what I had highlighted as my quote of the episode.
Excellent.
Establishes that he thinks the Grafton monster is going to get drunk, or maybe Willie, it's just going to be fun for us to think about. It's going to be a fun thing for us to share. But also, Willie, I do go to jail a lot for drunk and disorderly.
And Willie replies, we've got a wild one on our hands if he gets on that old corn mash.
The implication here being this has happened before, that they've encountered a drunken, like they did encounter a Bigfoot whose house was in this drunken, it could have been like a drunken Bigfoot in a moonshiner holler.
He was on a bender. They caught him. That was a real messy Bigfoot house.
He showed him his ass. That's a drunk Bigfoot. They know what's up.
For the second straight episode, they imply that alcohol in West Virginia is not something that you can buy from a store. Yeah. But it's something that you have to make in your backyard, or the corn squeezins, as they said in the previous episode. Here, it's the old corn mash is what people drink.
There was a bunch of corn and the blood in that one structure they found. It did look like they decorated the blood with corn. Maybe that was just someone trying to make liquor.
Blood mash. We're going to have a hell of a time on our hands if he gets into the blood mash.
Blood whiskey.
Running that cow placenta through an old moonshiner still back in 1939. By God, drunk as shit. There's something I want to bring up here, which is that Wild Bill, when he's being a little bit silly, has this sort of tick that he does all the fucking time, where he makes kind of half of an okay sign. He puts his thumb and forefinger together, like he's daintily grabbing a joint, and then he zips it away from his body like it's pulled on a string.
Yeah, it's like Dana Carvey doing George Bush.
It's very vaudevillian. It's like a W.C. Fields punctuation to a punchline kind of thing. So he does that, and he says to this bit, and he zips his little vaudevillian zip away, and then grabs a chainsaw and just runs at it like a fucking madman, like it wronged him. And he hits, he doesn't like carefully line up and start chainsaw. He starts slapping it with the chainsaw, screaming, "Hoorah!" Like this has offended the honor of the Marines, this tree stump.
Oh, it's so weird. They have a POV shot, like they put the camera on the on the chainsaw so we could see Wild Bill's face, what it looks like
it's
to
the
the
first
tree.
Bill cam.
Yeah, you gotta.
We will do this often. We do a Wild Bill cam often. We don't do it for any other member of the cast. We just do it for Wild Bill because he's a creature. It's just like putting a camera on a dog.
Now,
And
this
then
scene,
these guys proceed to cut down like 20 trees.
yeah, this is either some very illegal logging or some just unrelated logging that they needed to do, and they decided to film it for the show. But yeah, you can't just go into the woods and cut down trees like this.
Cut down like 40 trees, like big trees.
Yeah, they're clear cutting some national forest. You're not allowed to do it.
So that's it for the Crackhead Trap Shack for now. It's time to meet with another witness in an open field. Of course, we meet with Dale, whose profession is deer hunter. We're on that streak. Nobody works in a grocery store. Nobody works in a grocery store and likes the woods.
He found a trail that's a little too big for a deer. Looks kind of suspiciously exactly right for a four-wheeler, though.
It does. He found a side-by-side track. He noticed this trail, and he put a trail camera up there, and he printed it out very nicely. They all do, which I love. I love that detail that every single one of them brings an 8x10 glossy, literally an 8x10 glossy of this image. They all see it, and every single one of the Ames crew goes with this crazy decision of acting like Dale just showed them a naked photo of his wife. They all go, damn, man.
Yeah.
Like all join in at once of just real horny for it. It's black and white, it's blurry, it's 1/10 of a shoulder of like a rented ape costume. They're probably not getting the deposit back. They've used that ape costume.
This could have been a moth on the lens. It's just nothing. It's so much nothing.
It's nothing.
Even by their standards, it's a ruined bit of nothing, and they think it's the hottest fucking shoulder of an ape they've ever goddamn seen. Trapper says, we finally got a definitive picture of the Grafton monster, like this is going to be entered into history. And Jeff says, what Dale gave us here is a perfect example of why they call him the Headless Horror, because that is scary.
Okay.
And when you're looking at it in different ways, you don't see its head.
That's true. There is no head in the photo.
He leaves this super long pause as though the statement was complete. They call him the Headless Horror because he's scary.
Now, Huckleberry says this is a really unique creature, but this, in the CGI, looks like just like a Bigfoot, like a Ben Grimm, like a Bigfoot with a haircut, I guess. It's a mangy Bigfoot. It's kind of Sloth from the Goonies because to end this, like, he is super scary, they do this really grainy red close-up of his clay face looking teeth. They give him goofy ass teeth. Picture a child drawing the boogeyman, and it's just a rough, uneven shape. They can't picture it. Trapper needs a comparison. You know he does. And you know what that's time for. So they get Buck to head on over to a tree. And I believe it's Jeff that says, now, Buck, hold your hand up here where his hump is. You can be the hump man. That's Buck's job. And after all of this, they hem and haw, and they decide he's big. It's big, all right. And they must be real big. It's fun. They're still doing that 1960s evidence in this era of ubiquitous 8K cameras. They're still like, oh, I got this blurry trail cam still shot. Like, why did you not have a trail cam like video? Like, why?
Yeah, we do that now. We do that shit.
I don't understand.
Huckleberry agrees. He says, this creature's real unique. It stands like a person. It walks like a person. But it's not a person. Now, see, if you guys hadn't made fun of Jeff so bad for saying bipedal, I feel like that word would have really helped you here.
Yeah.
Like, you're so close. You're dancing around it. Dale has more evidence, and he's hyping them up for it. Like I don't know, like a stage magician. He's like, well, now I got another piece of evidence. Do you guys want to see it? And they're like, yeah. Do you guys really want to see it? And they're like, yeah. And so he takes them over to an old barrel, and you're like, okay, here we go. And then from behind his back, he pulls out the object he's going to show them. The barrel is just there for show, just to set the scene. And he once again says, you ready to see it? Here it is. It's in this little thing right here. What he means is a towel. It's wrapped in a towel. And he pulls out a casting of its track, and it's a Bigfoot. Which they
he unwraps it, and we cut to commercial.
That's right.
The audience at home on the edge of their seat, waits to find out what he had wrapped in that towel. Is it a human penis from a missing a hitchhiker that went missing
off
6 months ago?
This has nothing to do with anything, fellas. I just collect these.
You're in the middle of the woods, meeting with a professional hunter, and he's got something wrapped in a towel that he wants to show you, and he's real cagey about what it is, and he's really drawing out the prestige.
A lot of unwise decisions on every level to follow this man and agree with it. They all say, Buck in particular says, "This is the first time we've had this kind of evidence," and they all mutter in agreement. It's absolutely not. It's not even the first time this episode.
No.
You found tracks. You found tracks at the deer feeder.
All the time. It's the first thing they find every night hunt is a track. A beautifully preserved track of a supernatural creature that they proved exists every episode.
Yeah, but this guy poured plaster into the track, and now they have the opposite of a track.
Right.
What's amazing is they're acting like this is magical in the first time. Do you think they don't know about plaster? Like they don't know you could make a molding? Like how did you fucking do this?
Their team could have made dozens of moldings of the various creatures they've tracked just through the first 7 episodes, and they never do.
In fact, you saw them try to kind of invent that, where they drew a box around one of the Bigfeet and had Huckleberry put his foot in there, and they're like, I just want to be able to picture it. I need a Huck foot in there to picture it.
The one that he has you can get for $8.99 at the Bigfoot Museum in Santa Cruz. You could just buy it.
It's very much a tourist item. It's adorable that they all pretend like it's not, like it's something, like it's a holy artifact. They decide now, this is where we're putting the trap. They've already decided where they were putting the trap. It was the deer blind, but they've now decided we're putting the trap here again.
This ATV trail is a much better spot.
So now let's get back to the trap shack where they have not told Wild Bill and Willie they're moving the trap, and they're building, I want to say a log cabin. They're building Bigfoot a log cabin.
Yeah.
So Wild Bill is chainsawing wildly, like he knows they're gonna take it away from him at some point, and so he's just getting as much in as he can. Wild Bill, this is a little moment, but I loved it. Wild Bill is passed out on some logs, and Willie starts hassling him for it. And finally he gets up, and what Wild Bill does is he stands up, he holds a plastic water bottle, what looks like a very filthy plastic water bottle, up over his head, and he says, "Huh, so Willie, so gonna be a night, so West Virginia chair brew." And then he pours the water bottle over his head, and he makes this completely mental noise. It sounds like he accidentally waterboarded himself.
Yeah.
It's just
hydrochloric acid or something. I don't know what the fuck this is.
It sounds like he's dying. This long, undignified, choking, gasping bit, and then as he reluctantly recovers, he goes, "Yeehaw!" and he does the vaudeville zip, like that was his bit, was to half drown himself in a dirty water bottle.
You know, I was wrong earlier. I think this is Dana Carvey as Mickey Rooney. That's what he's doing.
Whatever he's doing, it works, and he should never change. That's it. They're building this trap in the wrong spot, and nobody's told them. Back in the field, we get to another witness. Maybe, God, this is such a competitive field. Yeah. Maybe my favorite witness.
Yeah, the most
it's not even close. It's not close to me, and I believe they had to have cast Doc. I can't believe they ran into a local
who
looks like
you gotta fly in a hillbilly. That's that cartoony.
He is dressed as Huckleberry for Halloween.
Yes.
He is actually Doc from the Seven Dwarves that grew up. Like he is just such a cartoon of an old hillbilly. You couldn't draw him any better. He's got overalls, he's got a flappy hat, a big like long droopy face, and those Coke bottle kind of glasses, huge beard, ZZ Top beard, and he just a very, very old man. And he
so
says
authentic.
He is also a professional deer hunter.
Yep.
That's all anybody they've met so far does, is deer hunt. And also, he mentions that he likes to eat squirrels because squirrel gravy goes good on his eggs and stuff, and then gives a little shy thumbs up. Yeah. I love Doc.
I think he means that. I don't think he's like playing it up. They're like, say some country shit. He's like, I don't know what that means, but I sure like squirrel gravy. It goes good with eggs. All right, bye.
All right, bye. Doc, God damn it. Can we get a round of applause for Doc? He's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Everybody on set.
Fantastic
He's
job,
not
Doc.
done. Yeah, he's not done.
So 10 days ago, he saw the Grafton monster do nothing in particular in a field, and at this very field. And he's now afraid that this is a regular pathway for him because deer come through here and he sees them.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, Grafton monster comes through here and he sees them. And when you're thinking, oh shit, they're not going to move the trap again, are they? There is a canned growl sound effect right there. The Grafton monster is right here. It's attacking them. It's going to leap right on top of them.
During the witness interview.
During the interview about how he saw the Grafton monster, they all, including Doc, leap into action. That's him. That's the damn Grafton
God
monster,
damn it.
Trapper says.
Doc
And the
does
camera...
the most incredible what the fuck face. Like he's... I don't know.
It's
It's either a masterclass
wonderful.
in acting or just a great prank on a confused old man.
just trying to gaslight him into believing it. And he's so senile that it's working real well. The camera gets no less than three setup angles from 10 feet to the right, 10 feet to the left, and about 10 feet in front of them looking up for a complete zoom in. So in fiction, here's how this goes. They're out there talking to Doc about how he saw the monster. The monster right next to them roars. They all turn around, and then the cameraman scatters to run to the left to 10 feet, get the profile, run to the right to 10 feet, and then run 10 feet between them, putting himself between them and the monster that's going to attack them, and then looking at the monster, not turning his camera on, and then flipping right around, turning his camera on and filming their faces while the monster presumably eats him.
In reality, they're getting a monster POV shot without explaining how they would get the monster's POV shot. But it's straight up supposed to be, because you're seeing their reactions on their faces looking at the thing they're terrified at. And it's great. The monster has a GoPro.
You're like primed to think, right? That's because they cut to commercial on that. Oh, obviously they're going to cut to commercial on that. They cut to commercial on like a pig doing something funny. Of course they're cutting away on this. And you're primed to think like, what happens next? They're building up that moment. Reality TV teaches you. Now they're going to show you what they are reacting to. So that's how this goes. That's how the structure shot is. No, it's more reaction shots of them. Never even occurs to the cameraman to film the woods where it might have come from or some shrubbery. Only films their faces the entire time. It's the Sam Neill shot in Jurassic Park where he first sees the dinosaur, except if they never showed you the dinosaur in the entire movie. It's just Sam Neill looking at it going,
I would watch that movie.
The whole movie.
You literally have someone saying, he's right there in broad daylight. And the camera never even swings around to try to get it in the shot.
I swear to God, these are the worst fucking cameramen. This is like the 10th time they've done this. Look, he's right. He's eating you. Film him.
I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into our conversation. There was a thing that Doc said leading up to that where he said that he's 6'2". Doc said this, but he was like a full head shorter than everybody else. So is Doc the Grafton monster witness a liar? Or I thought maybe the Ames team was like a Chinese basketball team and they're all just like 7'2". And that's, I just,
what a glorious world.
What a context this show would take if that's what we're dealing with. I don't know, it's just...
It would cast the whole thing in a new light, like they're out there, a legitimate match for these monsters.
Right.
Like the only men in the world who could wrestle these monsters are out there looking for them. No, that's just, you missed out on some of that classic Doc humor. Right. He says, I was 6'2", but he scared 5 years of growth out of me.
Okay, so 5 years of growth.
Okay.
Because I didn't understand that. Because that's...
You didn't understand
I don't measure
Doc
length
when he talked?
I don't measure length in years, I guess, is the thing.
And you also didn't understand when he said, "Yeah, I was 6'2", 5 years over me."
There's that too. Squirrel gravy. I speak squirrel gravy though.
And then finally, Doc is going to leave the episode by announcing he's too scared and running away.
He's too scared, and he asks them to give him a ride, like they didn't give him a ride out here, and like they were going to leave him. And they act like, well, I guess, sure. I guess we could give you a ride. At least we could do. So, every other time this has happened where they've been out with a witness and encountered something terrifying and left, did they just leave the witness there to be devoured by Mothman or whatever?
Technically, yes,
tourism
but they're never more than like 20 yards from their backyard, so they're probably
From a
fine.
Denny's.
Yeah,
Like, this is in the median divider of the highway next to the Denny's. So they decide, yes, they are going to move the trap again. This is the third place. Well, just a reminder, it's one of the heaviest traps.
It's an entire log cabin. It's the best built structure in the entire hauler. Like, all these guys' hunts is they basically find the nearest structure and find a bunch of like blood on it. So future monster hunters will find this log cabin years from now and covered in cow afterbirth, and this is setting the stage for future monster hunters, is all I'm saying.
This is the circle of life.
This is the circle of monster life.
How they reproduce, because they're not reproducing the normal way. Back to the Crackhead Trap Shack. They got the whole thing rigged up on a tripwire, right? And Wild Bill says, thus this whole episode, he's in awe of Willie and like Willie's ingenuity and just genuine love for Willie. And he says, "Oh, Willie, huh? Anybody ever tell you use like MacGyver, huh? Take a cigarette lighter, make an explosive device, huh? Got him a paperclip too. Forgot about that, huh?" Willie doesn't know what to make of that. It's a weird series of things to say, even in the sense of improv. So he just kind of turns away, and Willie says, "Can you keep an eye on this trap for me?" while he gets in the tractor and drives away. And to that, Wild Bill says, "Huh, vroom, vroom."
He just doesn't know how to respond to anything. He never had a father!
I was just going to say, the show has partnered up Wild Bill and Willie as being like, the pair that work in the traps. They clearly do not know each other outside of this show. They have no like rapport with each other whatsoever. It's constantly very awkwardly Wild Bill saying something just nuts and Willie trying to comment on it, and then Wild Bill saying something totally unrelated.
He's so uncomfortable. Willie is so uncomfortable with it, and he's really trying to be like you've sprung a maniac on me, like a bus maniac has sat next to you and you're just trying to make it to the next stop without getting stabbed. And he's not going to.
They both have like really aggressive personalities and nervous energy, but not on the same wavelength. So it's just like, they're both like the noisiest guys of two very different friend groups. And they should not be together. But I kind of love it when they're together.
It's great. It's magic. You were discovering a blooming friendship where none should be.
But this thing is dangerous. Like, the door is 2,000 pounds. This is going to kill the shit out of a local curious kid. It will never, ever catch a Grafton monster. Ever.
But it will cut a child in half. Absolutely. Wild Bill says, "Rain, snow, it don't matter. Huh. Nothing stands in the way of a Marine going after a monster." Huh. As though maybe that's what the Marine Corps does. Maybe he thinks that's what the Marine Corps does. And they have like just a really good work ethic about it. Immediately after that, they do show him falling off the top of the trap. It's just in his controlled way. He's holding a rope, but he just falls. Yeah, he does not know what a rope is. We knew that would
happen. Also, the trap is like sitting on they didn't build a foundation for the trap. So basically anything inside it will just tunnel through the wet mud slightly slower than walking. Like, no one is staying inside this trap for more than 30 or 40 seconds, especially a Grafton monster.
I bet Buck will, because the others arrive to inspect it. So the whole crew's together. Huckleberry says, "That's slicker than socks on a rooster, Willie." I don't fucking even have a guess what that could possibly mean.
"That's slicker than socks on a rooster," is what he said. I have tried to puzzle through what that means. I've spent more time than you can probably appreciate trying to figure out what. Did he mess it up? Is there a word that he switched around?
Yeah. Does rooster mean cock? Is this like a dong joke? Because you're never getting a sock off a rooster. His talons are going through there 5 different ways.
Slicker than socks. Does he maybe just think the rooster looks real good? Like, he saw a rooster wearing socks one time and he's like, "That looks real good on that rooster." He's pulling that off. Look at Slick.
That's thank you in cock.
That's please don't objectify me. I find you disgusting and your weird feet.
God damn it.
That throws me so hard. It threw me for I just paused it and had to be
They baited it with cow placenta, which is the one thing they know it doesn't need. To make it more placenta-y, they have a jar of fermented cow fluid. I don't even think they explained what fluid this was.
They say it's cow juice.
Cow juice.
That's what they say.
It's just juice.
Somebody juiced a cow.
Did someone jerk off a bull into this? Is this pee? Is it just like dead debris, and then they just like mopped it into this. I don't know, but
they give it to Buck.
Yes,
of course.
This filth-soaked cow after birth, and then they just sort of dangle that in there. I don't know. It's flawless logic to take the one thing they know it doesn't eat, cover it in inedible fluid, and then leave it in a giant box that it could easily leave,
and then send Buck in to bait the trap again, as they always do. He gets some of the cow juice on him and is very upset about it. He takes off his bandana for the testimonial to explain how he's upset about it and disappears once again completely. I have no idea who this guy is without his bandana. He looks 20 years younger. I don't know.
He just looks like a big softball.
And he accidentally improvises a line saying, well, anything within 500 miles will be able to smell this. Which, again, is exactly the opposite of what they want. They want something that only the Grafton monster will smell and be attracted to. And Buck accidentally says, well, every animal within 500 miles is going to come running to this thing, which is true. It would, squirrels, like that thing, that afterbirth would get taken off there by something immediately. A raccoon, anything. A wolf, a dog, a coyote, a mountain man.
A wild bill? Once again,
hellhound,
just like every
a Bigfoot.
trap.
There's a lot of other cryptids in these woods, too.
3 dogs.
3 dogs?
I've become fascinated with the fact that none of these traps are functional. And the same thing with the previous episode. They had like a little lever that they expected the monster to step on to lower the bamboo trap. But it clearly seemed like it was just set up so that they would, Buck would step on it and then off camera, somebody would let go of the rope. So here, of all of the traps that would be irresponsible to be functional, is this thing where the door, for those who have not actually watched the episode, the door is made of several full-sized logs. Mm-hmm. It is a several 100-pound door, and the fiction of the show is that there's a tripwire along the doorway. So you hit that tripwire, and it drops this door like a guillotine. Now, when they demonstrate the trap, they don't even try to pretend like that tripwire, like the tripwire is literally just like on 2 eye hooks on either side of it. Right. It's not connected to anything. It's just a wire. And then to lower the door, they just have it hooked like a tractor is holding it up by a cable, and it just very gingerly lowers it down as somebody backs the tractor up. It would be, of course, incredibly dangerous to actually build it the way they claim to have built it, because again, the fear would not be that some person or kid or whatever, or somebody's dog gets trapped in there, that door would cut them in half, as you said. It would break their spine.
Yeah, we're absolutely making death traps for confused meth heads in the woods. Is that their cow juice you got in there? And then dead. Your last words are, is that their cow juice you got in there? It's on your tombstone. So it's time for the night hunt. They're all locked and loaded. It's the same night hunt every time. They split into teams. It's Trapper, Huckleberry, and Wild Bill on one team, and it's Jeff, Buck, and Willie on the other team. What's most notable about this, what makes this, amongst all the hunts they've done, their most dangerous hunt, is that they have given Wild Bill a shotgun.
Someone's definitely going to
die. I don't know who gave him that. Somebody fucked up real bad, and it's like taking a bone away from a hungry dog. Like, he's going to shoot you first for doing it, if you even try.
Most people who know a Marine know this, but there's a thing that they train them in where, like, once they get switched on, they kind of can't get switched off until they've named something. Once they've unbottled, like, hey, I have a shotgun. Like, Wild Bill cannot put that down until he's killed with that shotgun. And
he's very excited. Yeah. He's very excited by the gun violence. He is also he's leaning on it, the barrel pointing up, like at his face. He's leaning on it like it's a cane.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's got a lot of experience. I think he should stick to the Mall Ninja knives, quite frankly. So they split into teams. They're gonna pinch a movement him again, just like every time. Wild Bill says, "Boy, you keep your eyes peeled thicker than a hair on a dog's back. You keep your eyes peeled because it's thicker than hair on a dog's back here." There's so many idioms in this one that I feel like they just made
This
up.
one was weird because I think hair on a dog's back was ADR. Like, it says, careful, it's thicker than hair on a dog's back. Like, it's a completely different, like, quality of recording. So maybe this was like a racial slur that they had to, like, fix in post.
Oh, gosh.
Maybe thicker than hair on a dog's back is the racial slur.
That could be too.
We just don't get it.
Maybe they added the racial slur They're like, oh, that should have been a racial slur. We'll fix it in post.
He said something real cute there, and they were thicker than Willie's luscious locks.
It's thicker than the crowd at an Oktoberfest in Miami, babe.
So B Team finds a clump of dirt that they very firmly decide, there's no marks here. We definitely don't see anything here. That means Willie has to climb it. So Willie climbs on top of it. Now he's standing on top of the only piece of Bigfoot-free earth they know that they have.
Right.
I don't know why it's a crazy decision, but he says, I don't have a good feeling about this. There's a musical sting and everybody jumps. It's right behind them. And they once again do your favorite thing. Wild Bill says, I don't know what that is. Well, yes, you do. You know what it is. You've been hunting. You're on a hunt for the thing. But he says, I don't know what that is, but it's making a loud kabang. And it's hitting something metal, somebody mentions. I believe they just forget that because that's a crazy thing to say.
I feel like they try to explain it later, like he was walking on top of the metal roof.
Oh, is that what that is? I thought they were just like, well, that was nothing. I thought that was like like the lizard demon likes to attack cars. They were just like, no, he doesn't.
Right. He's just starting to.
So the first thing is, as soon as they hear it, Bill goes running off to die. He wants to die. He has an insurance policy that pays double if he's killed by a monster. He's just, and even Trappers goes, don't go running in there, Bill. Jesus. Fucking idiot. He cuts commercial on Bill running to certain death, but it's not. They found yet another abandoned building out here, as they always do. All of these monsters, I don't know why they love buildings. They are not one with nature, I guess. And he says this is a slaughter. The whole side is red with blood. And immediately after that, where you would just think, well, okay, we're leaving. Trapper says, cover me, guys, I'm going up. And I would like to propose this question to you. What do you think covering him means in this scenario?
Definitely accidentally putting a round in his leg.
Yes, because everyone points their guns at Trapper as if the idea is if he is attacked by the Grafton monster, they will shoot it off of him.
Right. Well, they don't want it to take him alive.
They will honor his sacrifice by blowing him to shit with the beast he wanted dead, mingling their blood together so that they may never be separated. He says, cover me, guys. And that guarantees that the barrels of every rifle swivel right to him.
It's so glorious.
Kill me, guys. So he does. He climbs the tank. Nobody knows what covering means there. They all took their best guess, and it was shoot you. Trapper says, holy shit, that sumbitch killed a deer right here. And he runs to the edge, and he holds up a deer head. What looks like a fairly fresh deer head, I guess.
It's one they found in the woods.
Then he says, and a leg, and he holds up a skeleton of a leg. You've got the two parts right there. Like, you can see one is like 15 years old and has been bleached, and one is something
one is a local deer hunter's deer head that he's not going to eat.
Trapper, holding these two pieces of deer, says, that son of a bitch.
The entire phrase is, ate it right down to the bone, that son of a bitch, as if there is no greater sin that an animal in the woods could commit than to eat another animal in the woods, and act that if it did not occur, the entire ecosystem would collapse.
Right.
He's personally offended that an animal ate another. That son of... I was saving this deer for my dinner. I called dibs.
Somebody said he ate a quarter of it. But I don't think that's accurate, because like he ate the whole thing minus a head and like a shin bone. That's 90% of a deer he ate.
It's a deer they found. It's the remains of what's left of one after the coyotes, whatever, been at it. It's the legs, it's the stuff they can't eat. They used it as a prop, but I don't doubt they just came across it. Or, again, one of their witnesses just had it on hand. But
they just didn't have a real good guess as to what a quarter of a deer looks like. Like, that's probably most of it, right? It's got like... Deer's got two legs. Even legs in the head.
Funnier to me is Huckleberry's quote, I ain't never seen anything like that. Which is, again, a man who claims to spend like 300 days out of the year in the wilderness.
In the woods.
Uh-huh.
And you've never seen a dead deer. Yeah. It's amazing.
I grew up real country, and my dog would bring home exactly that, like, several times a month. It would just come out of the woods with like a big old bone. And I'm like, yep, Gross.
And you didn't say, "You son of a bitch."
I never suspected Grafton Monster. Ever.
This sends Trapper into into a full panic. Like, he loses his cool. He gets on the radio, he says, "You guys need to get over here now. There's been a slaughter." Like, this deer was his best friend. He says to the camera, "This team's in more danger than I ever dreamed about. Now he's after meat."
He literally reacts as if he found the remains of an entire Navy SEAL platoon.
Right.
He found like 15 corpses, like in Predator, where they found the bodies been stripped and hung in the woods or whatever. That's how he reacts.
Yep.
This is his Bill Paxton in Aliens moment. He's like,
taking
"Game over,
trophies.
man. You gotta get back here. I never imagined he could fuck up a deer and like meat. What if he thinks that we're made of meat? We gotta get out of here." It's such an insane choice in several directions. They've established it so many times. This whole thing started with Buck saying, this Grafton Monster is a cannibal ape doula delivering babies just so it can eat them. And now Trapper found part of a deer and is like, "Fuck it, we gotta get out of here.
We gotta get out of here. I didn't sign up for this."
Huckleberry, God, it just always got Trapper's back, even in bad improv, says, "It's got blood in it now." Like, that supercharges the monster. Like, now that it's drank blood, it's going into berserker mode. Jeff has him on thermal, he says. We don't really see that. There are branches snapping all around him.
I would counter with, "The fuck he does." Jeff,
The fuck he does.
Jeff does
has him on thermal.
never has anything on thermal.
But the thermal department decides, no, he doesn't. They think it took off and jumped off another cliff, but then they think it didn't after all. And Jeff says, "Oh, I think it's possible this Grafton Monster has done nothing all evening but taunt us."
Yeah.
Like he's disappointed in it.
It's doing the same thing the Hellhound is, just running circles around him.
It's doing the Flash whirlwind. It's trying to make him get caught in a maelstrom. Like, maybe I could. I don't know. I've always wanted to try this. I've seen it on Super Friends. It looked cool.
Yeah, but I love it here because Jeff is building to how it's personal now. It's like, I think he's just taunting us, but he doesn't take that extra step to say, now it's personal. No one else is upset about it. They're just like, yeah, he's probably fucking with us.
He's probably fucking with us. They find him again. They push him towards the trap this time. They're very insistent. He's right there. And Wild Bill doubles down, and he's a meat eater. Like we've established his sin. Like that's a slur. Buck is standing behind with the other team, and as Wild Bill and Willie are out there on point looking for this, he keeps his gun carefully trained on them the whole time, as if he's ready to kill them if they turn into Grafton.
One of them shows a sign of Grafton, they're gone.
Everybody here thinks that the best thing to do to help your buddies is to keep your gun pointed at them all the time.
He said, "Brothers, listen, if I start to hunch over, it's too late for me. I need you to kill me. I need you to promise you'll kill me." They
also do something that I'm curious to see if future episodes they get a note on, where they will get to a point where they're playing the sound of the creature right next to them. Like, it's right there. Like, they will act like it's right off camera within 10 feet of them. And then in this case, it's Wild Bill who says, "Look, there's blood." As if, like, at that point, you're not looking for footprints. The monster's there.
Yeah, you're fighting him. You're currently fighting him.
You found him. You're not tracking anymore. He's right in front of you. So, like, they don't know yet to escalate the stakes from, okay, we found a blood trail, we found footprints, we found guts. Now it's the monster. And then once you found the monster, you're not back to looking for footprints and stuff. You're not looking for broken twigs anymore. He's right there.
Look, there's blood. It's mine. He has punched through my torso. I've lost this fight. So they find blood. They find a track. They're excited about finding tracks again.
They've also
in the middle
added
of the
that
fight.
he's dragging a deer with him, like right now. Like while he's taunting them, he's also
son of a bitch
dragging a headless deer carcass.
Doesn't he know deer are holy in this region? Wild Bill says, what I'm gonna try to put together on the fly. He says, if we get to this Mr. Grafton Monster, he gonna be trying to intimidate me, put fear in me. I don't like that, but he had me in a couple bad situations, and I kind of get an attitude about that. See if I can't adjust his attitude for him.
There you go. He's making it personal.
I think he made it personal, right? I think he's saying the Grafton monster scared me, and that makes me mad.
Yeah, you don't spook a Marine.
Now I'm gonna scare him back.
Yep. Revenge. Uncle Sam style.
I love when they pause to shit talk the monster like it's a pre-UFC bout. Like they're here to just talk him down and get those odds up. Bet on me in this monster fight. Willie says he got a glimpse of him high in the air and lost him again, like he is bounding through the woods at incredible speeds.
He's just Hulk jumping through the hollers.
He's Hulk bouncing. He's Hulk hopping miles at a time, and they're like, we'll never keep up on foot, but you know how we will keep up? Golf carts. It's time for the jump in the golf carts. Hollering and hooping,
and hawing. Hooting and hollering. The element of surprise is so important in a Grafton monster hunt, and these guys are just like on spring break.
They're having the best. God, they say, look, it's dumb in terms of a hunt, but it looks like they're having the best time.
They transitioned from it taunting them to they now have it on the run.
Yep.
And it's of all of the 3 million square miles of the United States it could run to, it is running, of course, directly toward their trap for no reason. Again, the trap is not, they didn't bait the monster's den. It has no reason to go there other than it decides that if it's going to flee from these men and their golf carts, it is going to go toward the smell of the cow afterbirth.
Yeah, you go towards the oldest cow afterbirth while you're being chased. That's Grafton instinct.
It's very video gamey in its logic, in that every time you have these two objectives. It has to be scared, and it has to take the bait for it to work. In reality, either one of those is plenty. Like, either one of those. And in fact, they get in the way of each other, but every episode is like, we have to fulfill these two criteria, or we do not get full points for this monster hunt. We don't get all the money that we could, and we won't level up into better monster hunters. I would love this video game. That's how the video game works.
Yeah, I would totally buy a Mountain Monsters video game. The trap, though, does not get triggered.
What?
But the bait is gone. Now
what?
So here's what's crazy to me is that obviously a Grafton monster could outsmart the trap. We know that. That's been established. But he gave them the deer carcass. Like, he left the deer carcass in exchange for the trap. So he understands our ways. He's a friend. He's a capitalist.
What they decide really happens is that he jumped on top of the trap and just took the bait.
Yeah.
And didn't go in the trap. And they are completely mystified. Trapper, in fact, says, we've never been up against anything like this. He's been on top of an oil tank, a deer stand, and now our trap. This guy gets on top of stuff. Yeah. He can climb small obstacles, and remember, they have established that before this show, they were a monster hunting team, active, hunting these monsters for 7 straight years. So this is like going on a decade of experience hunting monsters. They've never seen one that can get on top of stuff.
The very last monster they hunted was like, he could jump over an entire road.
Yeah. And a couple episodes back, you hunted Mothman.
Yeah.
Who, how did he get out? He can fly. Also, you had to invent anti-teleportation science to trap him. And now you're like, this one climbs shit?
I ain't never seen nothing but climb an oil tank.
Also, it did 9/11. As they mentioned casually, the Mothman may have done 9/11.
Mothman did 9/11. You're right. It wasn't his only.
A time-traveling, teleporting, immortal creature that shapes world events. But nothing has, they've not run up against anything like the Grafton monster and its ability to jump up onto low objects.
Yep.
So it could climb up to 10 feet in the air with some difficulty.
Huckleberry climbed the oil tank and Wild Bill climbed the trap. So, like, they've seen their colleagues climb these things. And they're like, still dazzled by
video
it.
Game logic. It's like when you're in Resident Evil and you run up a ladder and you start shooting down at the monster and then it starts climbing the ladder. You're like, fuck, no, that's against
true.
the rules.
That's true. You did not think, I did not know that this monster was animated for ladder. That's fucking,
that's what he's saying.
Crazy. It changes everything.
I thought that was safe territory, a second level. I did not. This is the first one I've seen violate that rule. So Jeff says, I never seen an animal, a creature, do anything like that. Jump? Jeff, because you have. Anyway, he says, I've never seen an animal creature
thermal.
do anything like that except a mountain monster.
Capital M, capital M.
TM. Trademark. Those are our action figures. Well, now with head. Now comes with Grafton Monster, now with head. Real head popping action. It's just a repurposed Krang.
Yeah.
Just a spray painted Krang mold. So Trapper says, we have definitely proved that the Grafton Monster exists in Taylor County, West Virginia, in a very stilted way that implies, like, I'm trying to cover my ass for this.
These fucking insecure clowns. The coping they're doing here. They just got humiliated by another monster they invented, and now they're like, yeah, I think he knows not to mess with us.
But then almost immediately after, he says, all that work for that goddamn trap, and the son of a bitch outsmarted us. Like, he's getting so frustrated that they're so stupid. And just a real quick count, how many of these monsters have they openly admitted simply outsmarted them?
100% of them.
In the scenario that they wrote, it's almost getting to be like a fetish situation at this point, where they enjoy
monster shaming.
But this has, again, if they've not yet gotten the note about why are you abandoning the hunt, this one has the funniest possible ending, where they play the growl sound one more time. Now, I want to ask you guys, when the canned monster growl happens, do you think they are playing something on the spot? Or do you think that's only added in editing and it's just them saying, well, there it is, and then they add the sound later? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, are they reacting to a noise, or is the director going growl, and then they know that's their cue to act like they heard the growl and that it will be dubbed in later?
I think it's the second one.
Yeah, I think it's the second one. I think somebody on the set goes, "Rawr!" and then they all go, "Ah!"
I do too. But so here at this moment, they get the growl, and then one of them shouts, that no good son of a bitch, and they all point their guns and decide that it's still like 40 yards away, which they can cross 40 yards in under a minute at walking speed. This thing could cross 40 yards in like 2 leaps, right? Like the thing they've described. Yeah. So it's still right there on top of them. Being 40 yards away means it's right there. They declare the hunt is over. It's like, nope, it's too far away.
But they came back to do your note. They got your note. They just didn't get the spirit of the note. So they got the note that, like, no, the hunt's not over. It's still right there. And they were doing the wrap up. He was doing the, like, that son of a bitch outsmarted us. And then it roared, and they're like, oh, it's still right here.
Okay. And what I like is
and then didn't know what to do.
They did the thing that Jason was talking about earlier, where the cameraman, to get the shot, ran out to the monster without filming it, then turned around and pointed the camera back at the men pointing their guns at him.
Yes. Monster POV.
Monster POV. It's no other show would have done that. No other monster hunting show would have done that.
So for the second time, Trapper tries to cover their ass again and says, I'm just hoping we've drove him permanently into big timber and out of this farm country. Why would you assume that? He fucking tanked you.
Literally right next to you, Trapper. Like, I'm surprised he's not waving from behind the shadows.
I think he might have literally dunked over you.
Yeah.
Like, at one point in this chase, I think you saw those footprints on one side of you, and then you turned around and you saw the other footprints, and that was him dunking over your ass. He just... At no point would he be afraid of you. And Huckleberry gets one of the last lines in the episode, and he says, based on our investigation, the people of Grafton, West Virginia need to be worried.
But it is not their problem, because they are going home.
We proved it. We showed it how it should not be afraid of humans under any circumstances.
Yeah, we really blew it.
And then we pissed it off.
Sorry, West Virginia.
So Trapper thinks he's ending the episode by saying, well, we probably drove him into big timber, and he didn't tell that to Huckleberry, who's like, y'all should be scared. We fucked up. We fucked up. End of episode.
We came here and we mildly annoyed it. It taunted us. We left. If it had a fear of man before, it doesn't.
we now understand how all of the monsters have felt, because that's what they did to us. Came in, taunted us, and left.
We have rid it of its fear of humans.
So now it's time to pick our favorite quote of the episode. How about Jason first this time?
I've got a couple. When they're looking at the trap, at one point, Wild Bill says, I'll tell you one thing, I like them monsters like I like my women. Big and fast.
We're gonna fuck that Bigfoot. We all know it. Just say it.
That would be too easy. I'm going to go with when they were admiring the plaster footprint that that Dale showed them. Buck looked at the plaster footprint and improvised, look at that great big arch. Maybe that's how he gets around so quick. No one responds or replies or acknowledges what he said whatsoever.
The
So
spring
good.
action of his foot arch.
So good.
Buck, that's racist. You're not allowed to say that.
This was like a quote-heavy show because it really felt like everyone was trying to get, like, put into the intro. It really, a lot of forced one-liners and catchphrases. But I think the one that made me laugh the hardest was the one that ended on where Huckleberry said, based on our investigation, the people of Grafton, West Virginia need to be worried. Because
be scared.
It was completely contradicting all the other coping, and it's just so fundamentally stupid. And it helped remind the viewer that, like, we're all just making this shit up. Like, no one should listen to us about anything. And if they did, this would still be useless advice. Just like, I just love it. It for some reason that encapsulated everything that's funny about the show to me.
My favorite quote has to be Wild Bill holding a plastic water bottle up in the air, saying, "So Willis, I'm going to be tonight, so West Virginia chair brew," then pouring it all over his head and going,
Because you have to be a Bigfoot teacher, you have to open up your mouth. You have to be a Bigfoot teacher, all your friends are so knocked out. You have to have the last word last night. You know what everything's about. You have to have the white hot spotlight. You have to be a Bigfoot last night. Whoa, whoa.